I am scared as to fail. So I've been challenged, or I've accepted a challenge of doing what I'm doing now. And I'm not going to go into specifics, but my goal is definitely to do it, but to create these videos without editing them. I'm not too sure if I'm convinced on that yet, but I'm going to try my best to speak as clearly and thoroughly as I possibly can. And this just hopefully is going to just challenge me to be a better speaker, which, like, I know I can. I just have to continue practicing. So if you want to do something that, I don't know, you want to do, if you want to do something, just challenge yourself. Just put yourself into a challenge, accept it, and don't judge yourself, because no one is born with an advanced no one is like born with an advanced vocabulary. No one is born knowing other languages. Like, you're gonna sound like you're trying something new, but like, that's exactly what you're doing. You're trying something new. Okay, anyways, so I'm trying to get to my notes because I like to have little notes, so because I will get to blabbering and going on and on, which there's nothing wrong with that. Okay, so all right, I know I'm admitting this on the internet. I am scared as hell. I am scared as hell to fail. Like, I am terrified of failing, and at the same time, like, I don't see myself quitting in any of the infinite realities, in any of the infinite possibilities. I'm scared of failing, but I also don't see myself quitting. And I know why. It's like, and you probably could relate. That's why I want to make these videos. Putting yourself out there putting yourself out there while you're trying something new, knowing you're being watched, could feel so debilitating. Like, you don't even want to do it. It feels like just knowing someone is watching you try something new, something out of your comfort zone. They don't know it's new to you, only you do. But the feeling, it just feels so isolating, and it feels scary, and it feels like, people like to say they don't care what other people think, but everyone cares what someone else thinks. I mean, to some extent, we all care what other people think. And when you're trying something new and you're other people are watching you do that, and in the back of your mind, like, I don't know what the heck I'm doing. Like, what? I'm scared as heck. I'm scared as excuse my language, but like, I'm super scared to fail. Straight up, I'm scared as hell to fail. And knowing that other people are watching me try, it makes me want to quit. But like, it makes me want to quit because dysfunction is familiar. Like, that thing that you weren't doing before you started doing something, it's familiar, and familiar, whether it's dysfunctional or not, is comfortable. We've either it adjusted to us or we adjusted to it. Either it adjusted to us or we adjust to it, and it's usually the latter, which is mostly why you don't want to be there in the first place. So you want to try something new, but like, you're scared for other people to see you try. And I know that I want to process this feeling out loud. I want to process this out loud today with you. So let's get started. If you're new here, my name is The Spivey J. And on my channel, I talk about mindset mastery, transformation, and just getting more fulfillment out of life. I am currently in the dead smack middle of a 100-pound weight loss journey, and I'm literally 50% to my goal, 50% from where I started. And so if you're interested, please, there's some buttons on your screen. Tap them, subscribe, like, share. I truly appreciate it. All right, so I was just like doing a little research and going back over like journaling and also a little reading, and I was like, okay, so where does fear stem from? Like, the fear of failure. All right, so at the base is fear, whether it's fear of failure or fear of success, whether it's fear of failure or fear of success, you scared, I'm scared. Where does it come from? Where does that come from? Where does that feeling come from? Where does that thought come from? And why are we pre-programmed to like even have this feeling, this thought process in the first place? So, oh, I forgot to write it down. That's why we have hotspot. All right, let's see. So it usually stems from 3 things. I think the first one is survival, and I kind of touched on that already. Oh yeah, survival. So I think fear exists like initially to like keep you alive, like survival, right? It exists to like you have that instinct, that human instinct. You know, anytime danger is near, you have fear to keep you at bay, to keep you away. And so like that's like kind of the basis of it. It keeps you surviving. Now a lot of that is helpful in the outside world. A lot of that's helpful in olden times, like years ago when the advancements in technologies did not exist. But now it actually kind of does the opposite, because our brains haven't evolved with technology. Like that just is what it is. So it's kind of like a slippery slope, and essentially your nervous system is doing its ancient job. Like I said, it worked in the past, but now, even when the threat is symbolic now, like rejection, failure, being behind, you aren't actually experiencing that on a life-threatening basis. It's just mostly mental, status-wise, in your social circles and your family. And so it gets kind of confusing. But essentially, fear initially whole purpose was to help you survive. And so that's like the root cause of it, but we haven't advanced ourselves. Our brains haven't advanced itself to keep up with the current day. All right, and I think that the second thing that fear stems from is the sense of loss of control. Not knowing what will happen, uncertainty, chaos, stuff like that. Humans hate ambiguity, right? We hate ambiguity more than bad outcomes. We need to know. We need to know that we know. This is why waiting, having patience, silence. Ooh, so many people cannot sit in silence. And what ifs just don't sit right with people. They don't sit right with people, and they feel completely uncomfortable. And so many people avoid anything that threatens their comfortability. Fear spikes when you can't predict or influence the outcome. So most people don't even live their dream life or even go after like one of their dreams because they can't fathom not being in control of the outcome. They are so attached to the outcome. You probably have this experience as well. I know I do. I've been attached to an outcome so hard that I didn't even try. It's like, well, if it doesn't work my way, it's not going to work no way. And that's crazy, because you like leaving God out of the equation. You're leaving magic out of the equation. You're leaving blessings out of the equation. You're leaving serendipity and fate and so many other things out of the equation. It's either X plus Y equals Z for you. And I think that's so sad, because there are so many things on the other side of us getting out of our comfort zone and losing control that allows things to just kind of fall into place. If you think about chaos, oh my God, I don't know what that theory is called, but like, isn't that like how the creation of everything occur is through chaos? So like letting go of those reins and losing the control and loosing the reins, essentially is where we want to be. But we want to be God in our lives, and we want to control everything, and that control is actually stopping you, and that is creating a fear of success, that's creating fear of failure, that's creating whatever fear in whatever domain of life you're probably looking at or working towards. And I'm guilty of this as well. And then I think that the last thing, after like kind of like I said, going through my thoughts and just reading a little bit, I think the last thing that fear stems from is the threat to your identity or your belonging. So say for example, you're like when you were young, you wanted so badly to fit in with your group of friends from school. You would literally change who you are and your thought process and your beliefs just to fit in with this group of people. And if you didn't, you would feel like a failure, or you feel like you were getting bullied, whatever the case is, and you needed to survive. I mean, it kind of all goes together. You needed to survive. So you had this fear that stopped you from being who you truly were, because it was threatening your belonging. It was threatening your identity of belonging, when really it's not even who you are. And then that's just the fear of being rejected. And I don't know anybody who wants to be rejected, but like so many successful people in different areas of life have said time and time again, they thrive on getting told no. They thrive on getting rejected because that means that they were closer to their acceptance or their yes. And it's like, the fear of being rejected, judged, losing your place, the fear of being exposed. Oh my God, so many people aren't even sharing their hero stories online because online is a scary place for many people. But little do they know that same story that they're afraid of being afraid of exposing about themselves, is the same story that can set so many other people free. So that's why I think fear stems from. Is a lot of times it's a combination of those things, but sometimes it's one of those things. Who knows where it comes from? This isn't about like you doing the healing work. This isn't about you doing the trauma, like, let me fix my childhood traumas. This is more so just about addressing and meet this kind of processing out loud. Like, why do we have this fear of failure? Because someone's going to see us do something that we've never done before. Like, of course you're going to struggle and you're going to work hard to get to where you want to be, but that's kind of like the whole purpose. And so when I say I'm scared as hell to fail, I'm being very honest, and it's a very vulnerable thing to share, but I know so many of you feel the same way. At the same time, I also, in the same breath, I do not see myself quitting in any of the I do not see myself quitting in any of the infinite possibilities and realities that could exist. So I may be scared, but I'm still going to do it anyways. And I feel that just having that mindset, having that heart, that's like going to take you farther than willpower. It's going to take you past the motivational videos. It's going to take you even further with your affirmations. And I think we should all just kind of have that embedded into our mind when we do something that we want to do and we do something that excites us, whether we are scared to fail or scared to succeed and we're trying to attach ourselves to all of these outcomes. The main thing is you're not going to quit. And the most important thing I realized, the reason I know I'm not going to quit is because I stopped focusing on the outcome, and I stopped focusing on the outcome, and I just kind of married myself to the inputs. Like, what can I actually do? And whether that equates to this specific outcome or outcome that's beyond my wildest dreams, I'm okay with that because I'm only focused on what I'm putting in. And what you put in, your inputs are actually what matters. It's what helps you grow. Like, a lot of people play the lottery. Like, you think you can go from managing $30,000 a year to getting $30 million a year. And then we see the stories about how many lottery winners just go broke so quickly. It's because who they were internally was not able to maintain and manage that level of wealth, that level of probably power. Like, money has power. You can do really, really amazing things with money. But who they were was still that person that, earned a lower wage, and who they were wasn't able to maintain or uphold the standard required to manage and deploy such huge amounts of money. So remember that the journey is you also becoming who you need to be to where you're going. So instead of focusing on the outcome and attaching yourself so tight to an outcome, detach and marry yourself to the inputs. And so that's kind of what I'm doing now to kind of get over my fear of failure. But at the same time, all of it's embodiment through my knowing that I ain't never quitting. I said I ain't never, I'm not never, I ain't never. Yes, I know it's a double negative, but I'm never quitting on myself. And I just want to say this. A lot of us have, if you're my age, you've been online for damn near 20 years, right? You see people that started, like if you started something 15 years ago, you see people that started with you and they never quit. They failed in public. They kept trying. And 15 years later, they're winning in whatever aspect you see winning meaning to you. And you're just like, oh my God, like if I didn't quit, or if I wasn't afraid to keep trying in public and not allow that to debilitate me and stop me and make me want to quit over and over and over again, I could be where they are. don't worry, we're not judging ourselves. We're just never going to quit on ourselves. That's all we focus on. Just don't quit on yourself. And I think that the fear of failure, I don't think it will ever fully dissipate. Like, I don't ever think it will fully disappear, but it'll be less important. And that's kind of the goal, right? Like, you don't want that to be the overarching, most important aspect of your journey is like, I'm scared to fail. I'm scared to fail. No, you need something that goes beyond that fear. You need something that goes beyond motivation. You need something that goes beyond willpower. And I think that is internalizing the fact that you're never going to quit. Don't quit. You got this. Whatever it is you're after, you can do it. Someone has a story that can inspire you. Yes. Well, can you watch a playlist of motivational videos? Yes. Will you run out of willpower? Yes. So what's going to keep you steady? Detaching from the outcomes and marry yourself to the inputs, because you know you ain't never gonna quit. All right. Thank you so much for kind of helping me process, or listening to me process the fear of failure. And if you're interested, I write a newsletter every Saturday. Link in the description. How I lost 50 pounds last year, and I will continue by challenging myself. My 100 days 1U challenge and guide and tracker. I always am out here when the church bell rings. Is in the link in the description. I'm gonna wait for this to go out. And sing. All right, so again, like I was saying, so the habit architecture system that allowed me to stay on track with losing 50 pounds in 2025, and that I am continuing to use this year, is linked in the description. And if you're interested in mindset transformation, mindset mastery, if you're interested in learning more and growing and getting the fulfillment that you deserve to live a fulfilling life. Follow, like, share, subscribe, all of the things. I truly appreciate it. Let's have fun. All right, peace.